Well, Francesco Rocca joins us now from Rome. He's the president of the International Federation of the Red Cross. Mr. Rocca, thank you so much for being with us. As you know, the number of Rohingya refugees continues to grow in Cox's Bazar and there in Bangladesh and on the border. You were recently there in Bangladesh taking a look at the camps. Can you describe the situation as you found it?
The situation of suffering is, for me, is something that I didn't have the experience before. The level of suffering, of desperation is really the highest that I ever seen in my humanitarian experience. You have to imagine a town of 600,000 people built up in only a few weeks, but there is no electricity, no water, no facilities. The situation is something really unbelievable.
Mr. Rocca, as you talk about this unbelievable level of suffering, what level of assistance is the Red Cross able to provide such large numbers living in such awful conditions?
Look, first of all, for us, the hygiene conditions was a priority, so we decided to set up a field hospital. We deployed several mobile clinics working together with the Bangladesh Red Crescent, and so just to avoid that, especially for the most vulnerable, the situation could be even deteriorated, and this was our priority. Then we are distributing a lot of items, and we are reaching tens of thousands, but we are fully aware that this is not enough.
Not enough. What is the greatest need?
The greatest need is food, is water. There was a very high risk of cholera, but with the WHO there was a strong campaign of vaccination. But especially for the children, the situation is really difficult. A lot of young children are malnourished, and this is something that is very sad to see. In our century, again, we are having the experience of this kind of diseases, bred diseases. So it's really something hard to live in the field, and we are very proud of the nurses and the medical doctors that every day, sometimes they have to walk for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half, just to reach the farthest part of the camp.
Mr. Rocca, it's not as if the world doesn't see the pictures. It's not as if the world isn't aware of the suffering. You know, thanks to social media, people are seeing the stories of what these people have been through. They're seeing the awful conditions in the camps, and yet we see the international community slow to take action and to put the pressure on the Myanmar authorities to stop the violence. Matthew Smith from Fortify Rights has described this as a global moral failure. How do you account for the way the international community has responded to this crisis?
No, this is, again, there is a high risk that this is going to be another failure of the international community. Sometimes it seems that they turn their head away. The international community doesn't want to look to the suffering of the people, and this is another occasion in which we are having this kind of experience. So we are calling to all the nations, all the most powerful nations, to support the humanitarian action of our organization, of all the organizations deployed in the field. It's really a shame what is happening under our eyes.
Is it time for the international community to speak with one voice and to take the steps to call this a genocide? Because, as you know, that would trigger a compulsory action on the part of the international community, on the part of the UN, to intervene here.
Yeah, but let me tell you very sincere, how many times we have asked to speak with one voice to the international community, but never happened again. This is not only the case now that we are living in Bangladesh, but we have seen this in many places of the world. I hope that this time maybe would be the last one, and the international community really will respond to this cries of help that is coming from 600,000 people, from thousands and thousands of children. It's unacceptable this way to face the challenges that these people have to live every day. This is, I only want to tell you something. Can you imagine the night with no electricity in this immense camp made by only little houses? built up in few hours with these children, and thousands of these children are with no relatives, no parents. It's something that we don't know what is happening there in the night. It's a shame that the international community is not supporting the Bangladesh government in building up better condition of life of these people, and of course in making pressure to all the actors to restore the dignity that they deserve.
Mr. Rocca, you are the president of the International Federation of the Red Cross. You are in the room with these people who make these decisions. I mean, what do you say to them? What do they say back to you when you put the situation to them? I know that you recently took the position of president, but I guess I'm just trying to understand what is going on in the heads of international stakeholders, that they're not doing anything.
The level of dialogue is always apparently very fair, because of course we ask, you are very demanding to support our role and the role of all the humanitarian actors on the field. But then when we look at the concrete answer, and when we look at you, for one person that you are able to reach, there are three that maybe you are not able to reach. This makes a level of frustration very high. So what we can ask is use, and thanks to you, this opportunity just to let all the people to know what is happening to thousands and thousands of human beings. These are not numbers. Of course, we talk about 600,000, but behind these 600,000, there are 600,000 stories, 600,000 of people, human beings that are suffering. And this is not rhetorical. This is unfortunate. This is concrete. It is happening now.
Francesco Rocca, I want to thank you for taking the time to speak to us. It's important that the world hears your voice. As you say, these are not numbers. These are 600,000 people with stories and lives that have been turned upside down. So we thank you for speaking to us and for shedding light on this.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gosh, you can hear the anger and the frustration in his voice, and he deals with this firsthand.
Firsthand, and you know, and to the point, you and I discussed it a lot. The pictures are there. We hear the stories. It's not.
What else? What other evidence is needed at this point? Okay, we'll switch gears now.